Aaron Haynes, I want to bring you in on the selection of Walz, and I've sort of been. I think it's one, the fact that none of this ever leaked is a real sign of respect for this candidate and the process that she went through in Vice President Harris. Two, I take Claire McCaskill at her word, and Yamiche, they're both reporting that she was looking to balance herself, and that she and Josh Shapiro came to the ticket, or would have come to the ticket, with this alarmingly similar resume. They'd both served as big state attorneys general, and then sort of moving on to a White House ticket. Your thoughts about the selection of Governor Walz?
Yeah, Nicole, and also, I mean, Governor Shapiro, a rising star in the party. Governor Walz does not seem to be somebody that has, higher ambitions. He seems to be somebody that wants to support Vice President Harris as the Democratic nominee for president, and to be a loyal governing partner to her should this ticket be elected. And so I think that was certainly a priority for her. Look, this is not somebody who was initially at the top of the vice presidential Veep stakes, right? Like, this is not who we were talking about. We were talking about a Mark Kelly. We were talking about Josh Shapiro. We were talking about other candidates, and yet his candidacy surges with all those television appearances, the podcast appearances. He hones that message of, calling Republicans weird. And we did know that most of the names floated as contenders were white men. Most of them were also governors. He had the executive experience maybe that she was looking for. He's focused on the middle class. That's certainly something that the vice president has been hammering in her message on the campaign stump. And he's got this Midwestern appeal. He checks a lot of boxes. He's a veteran. Like you said, high school social studies teacher, football coach. He's a hunter, translation, gun owner. So, I mean, and the chemistry really, again, and just the personality that came through that clip you showed. I mean, he wants to make Thanksgiving great again. Like, that is something that probably resonates with a lot of Americans.
Yes, me too. I want to ask you, David Jelly, about this chemistry piece. I don't know that I appreciated how much love President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris had for one another until we got to listen in to the two of them when she first went to the Wilmington campaign headquarters the first day that she was the candidate, and President Biden called in. He was home quarantining ostensibly with COVID, and he listened in. He said, I love you, kid. She said, I love you. I mean, I think she was hungry to sort of have someone with whom she could build that kind of affection and bond. And I wonder your thoughts on all the reporting about their chemistry.
The chemistry between a president and vice president is critically important. I mean, we are in a world that is at war in many places and might see expansion of wars in the Middle East, an economy that still is fragile and has questions despite its growth. And so having a working partnership between a president and vice president is so important on a personal and professional level. And I think what you saw in that moment between Joe Biden and Vice President Harris was so important because everybody remembers how it started on the stage in Miami when the vice president went after Joe Biden about his record when it came to civil rights legislation. Yet they bonded and they found a way to govern together, and it became a strong personal relationship of trust. And I think that's what Harris is looking for. Harris had a lot of qualified people to choose from. I think the story that rules the day, though, is that the chemistry between these two, this is a happy ticket that wants to work for America and all of America. At a time when Donald Trump is trying to repackage the anger of 8 years ago, the reason Harris and Walz are going to win in November is because hate and anger are kind of 8 years ago. Bad-mouthing America, bad-mouthing our own people, that's 8 years ago. Demeaning democracy, challenging democracy is so 8 years ago. And that's not a big enough coalition to hit 60 or 70%, but it's a big enough coalition to win this race when they look at Vice President Harris and Governor Walz and say, you know what? Those are people that believe in our country. They don't wake up every day trying to badmouth our own team. We're fighting for our own team. And I think on this question of policy, I know Democrats had to wrestle with it a little bit more than even some Republicans and independents, because what bonds the Harris coalition together that's a little different than the Biden coalition is it's no longer really about questions about ideology. It's knowing that we're all rowing in the right direction. We're all rowing in the right direction on behalf of the country, trying to get to the same place. The finer points of ideology and policy will take care of themselves when we're all on the same team together. That's this team. That's the Harris-Walz team. This is the team that's fighting for you, and you know it, and you can feel it, and it's why they're going to win.